Hey everyone, Tankenstein here, and welcome to Stock to Spaded. In this episode, I'll be showcasing the F4U-4B. This is a currently rank 4 battle rating 5.7 naval fighter in the American Air Force's tech tree, and sits in the same folder as the F4U-1C, which makes this an optionally unlocked vehicle, which makes it perfect for Stock to Spaded. With that said, in this video, I'll be going over at least 3 matches, first match being fully stock, second match being about halfway spaded, and the third match being fully spaded, so you can see exactly how this vehicle is, again, from stock to spaded, and everything in between, and also see how the modifications impact its performance, and if you want to, first of all, grind for this vehicle, unlock it, purchase it, and even grind through it to fully spade it. Now, with that being said, you might be wondering to yourself, what are the differences between the F4U-4B and the 1C? Well, the 4B is a huge upgrade over the 1C, in that it has better cannons that fire a bit faster, it has slightly more ammo, about 5% more ammo per gun, it has substantially better performance, around 15 to 20% increased performance with this engine over the engine in the 1C. It has access to a G-suit, which the 1C does not have access to, and the 4B also has access to bombs, up to 2 1,000-pound bombs, which the 1C only has access to HFARs. Additionally, on the 4B, the engine injection mod is substantially more powerful than what you see on the 1C as well. So in all, between just even the small upgrades, like with the additional ammunition, to the huge upgrades, namely in the performance, the 4B is essentially a total upgrade over the 1C in almost every way imaginable. So that being said, let's get into a few matches here, see what we could do, again, from stock to spaded. Let's get into it. So here we are, fully stock with the 4B, and I'll probably just call it the 4B throughout this video. And this vehicle, I mean, I'll tell you this, fully stock, I am very much not impressed by its stock climbing performance. It is not very good. It's not like terrible, because as you can see, like, I'm still leading these P51s, which P51s have decent enough performance insofar as climbing is concerned, but it's not all that great. A lot of the time, like with the BF109, for example, if I'm not like thinking out of the box here, typically I'm at like 400 kilometers per hour by this altitude. So like, it's just a little bit slow insofar as its climb rate's concerned, but as you can see, I mean, I just tore that ME410 apart, which, by the way, guys, and we need the 210 in War Thunder. I would love that. That flawed, terrible plane that was the 210, which, the thing is, in real life, it would suck. It did suck in real life, but if you guys don't know, actually, fun fact about the ME210, it was just extremely, like, poor when it came to its aerodynamics. And so, in War Thunder, it's difficult, because, like, War Thunder doesn't model things like, War Thunder doesn't model things like reliability, for example. War Thunder doesn't do a lot of things like that, and so, you know, for example, ooh, nice. For example, planes, he's probably gonna die. Yeah, he's dead. For example, early engines, like jet engines, aren't really nearly as bad in War Thunder as they were in real life. So I'm about to die here, I think. But we have 3 kills, not too bad. You know what? I'm going to do an audible, so to speak. I'm going to get into one more really quick fully stock match, because as you can see, this thing tears enemies apart. I essentially have 3 kills in probably like 2 minutes, but there's a little bit more I want to go over, just real brief, and then we can get into the halfway spaded match. So again, here we are, fully stock with the 4B, and I'll just say this, I mean, like, I am noticing the engine does heat up quite a bit more than other planes, give or take, around this BR under similar-ish loads. Additionally, this doesn't, again, have the best rate of climb, and that is indicated via its stat card, as you guys can see here. It's only 13.8 meters per second, which is, you know, even for stock, especially at this BR, not really all that good. So, this, when it comes to performance, at least initially, is, not great, say the least. I would just say mediocre, probably, would be a more accurate thing to say. However, once we get this thing halfway spaded, I genuinely do feel like that is probably going to turn around pretty quickly. But like I said, I mean, if you're just looking at, for example, pure firepower, this thing just annihilates people. And bear in mind here, I'm not really trying to do all too much here. Like, if I die here, that's fine. It's kind of part of the game, I guess. We have ourselves severe damage, and I got severely damaged. But just to kind of round this out, thus far, maneuverability, fully stock, isn't bad. It's got excellent firepower. I think overall, its rate of climb isn't great. Its top speed seems actually pretty good. And its overall firepower, again, is just fantastic, even fully stock with default belt. So that said, now let's get into the halfway spaded match, see what we can do, and hopefully get our performance up quite a bit. So here we are about halfway spaded with the 4B, and holy crud. The performance on this thing, way better than it was before. Like, wow, you know, like I got the engine injection set up on this, and it has gone such a huge way into making this just such a better vehicle. I'm just gonna dive down here. I got damaged a little bit. So my engine is a bit damaged, as you could tell, but we're gonna keep on trying to go on here. Hopefully we can get ourselves some more kills, but I'm gonna have to dive down now. Now, with that said, like, look at this roll rate. Typically, you know, of course, with a fully functional engine, you're going to have a much better dive rate than this. But even still, 700, like, typically by this time, again, with a fully functional engine, I'm going like 750. But, like, the roll rate on this thing is fantastic. And I really feel like roll rate is one of those things that's just, unfortunately, looked over when it comes to vehicles, when it comes to aircraft, because that is one of those things, it will allow you to basically throw your weight around, whereas other planes, they just do not have this same roll rate. Holy crud, man. I am doing something here. I'm gonna... Okay, he's dead. Let's go ahead and land back at base. But 4 kills in a very short amount of time. And as you can see, I mean, like, it's in large part, really, because of that performance. I was able to get up to that PBY, first and foremost. I was then able to dive down, and even with the damaged engine, like, I'm still actually not doing too poorly here. It still has enough engine capacity to be able to do something, although that FW-190, like, I really can't fight on anything more than, like, relatively even ground here. But let's just kind of go over, I guess, some of the strengths and weaknesses of this thing as we are getting a little bit closer to having to land at base. Hopefully this guy doesn't kill me. This entire enemy team wants to kill me, I think, which is understandable. But basically, what I can tell you is that it does still have overheating issues with the engine. Kind of close. It does still have overheating issues with the engine. I mean, those are very noticeable. And unfortunate, because even though, again, as you can see here, it is overheating, a large part of that is because it is, again, damaged. The whole system for the engine is just damaged. But in general, it will overheat pretty substantially, and more so than most fighters at and around this BR. So that is a constant issue with this vehicle. Even at 100% throttle, if you've been using your WEP for quite a while, you actually have to put this thing down to like 80% throttle to cool it down. It's not like a simple 1 to 5% throttle fix to be able to cool it down. It's a lot that you have to do. So there is a lot of work that really has to go into this thing in order to make sure that it, you know, that it cools down. But otherwise, I mean, its performance, it's like night and day. You know, hopefully we can get back up in the sky here and take some enemies down, but it's pretty much like night and day. I mean, as you can see, I climbed up to, what, like, I think I've gotten up to like 4,000 meters. Not sure if that's where I was this time, but like 4,000 meters, 350 to 400 kilometers per hour with no issues. And then look at this. I'm still able to fly back to base with no problems at all, which, I mean, that is a hell of a testament not only to the engine capacity of this vehicle, the performance of this vehicle, but also, I mean, like, it's staying healthy for a pretty damn long time. So I'm going to go ahead and land. Barring any further action, I feel like hopefully this was a pretty good idea of what this vehicle can be like, especially if you want to fly this thing. You know, if you are flying this thing damaged, which is going to happen. And bear in mind also, all of my stock to spaded videos, I'm trying to show you guys real, like, just real gameplay, you know? Like, I'm not trying to cherry pick the best or the worst matches, just something where I can give you guys a realistic view of what this thing is. And I mean, this is one of the bigger jumps from stock to halfway spaded that I've ever seen. Just because, again, that engine injection upgrade is phenomenal. So as said, I'm going to go ahead and continue this landing process here. If we don't have any sort of further action, I guess we can go into the fully spaded match, but we'll have to wait and see. And of course, here we are fully spaded with the 4B, and jeez, man, this thing just continues on the trend that I was telling you guys about before. More and more and more and more power. I am gaining altitude at a fairly decent clip, going 466. I have noticed that this vehicle actually starts to gain a lot more power much more quickly. I would say somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 meters up, which is very nice. Woo! That is also very nice. I'm going to stay up a little bit high here. As I was saying, this thing is phenomenal. Hopefully it doesn't hit me. This thing is phenomenal when it comes to just overall, whatchamacallits, roll rate. Okay, there we go. Some ugly shots at first, but we made up for it. So, with that said, do I recommend the purchase of this aircraft? Do I recommend researching it? All of that. Well, that's kind of a tough one, right? Like, if you're just planning on getting this plane just to get it, on one hand, no, because it's, you know, it's not really, like, if you're not planning on fully grinding this thing out, then no, probably not. Because it just really won't do that. Or better said, sorry, I'm a little distracted here. When it's fully stock, it's iffy. You know, genuinely. It's a little bit of an iffy aircraft, fully stock. Just because, again, those performance issues. And then if you end up pushing your engine a bit, it's going to overheat. You know, so in all, it's a little bit of a tricky aircraft from fully stock. I think it's still pretty good because it has that really nice armament, and it still maintains its pretty good maneuverability. However, fully stock, this thing goes from 0 to hero when it goes fully spaded. I mean, it is really, really nice. Very, very powerful. Can I get a hit? I got something. It becomes very powerful at that time. It is definitely, in my opinion, if you are a Corsair fan, this might be the Corsair to get. It is really good. I mean, like, you're talking just stuffing a ton of power into an already very powerful aircraft. And because of that, I really can't say anything too bad about it, other than, again, the fact that this thing does overheat. Now, bear in mind, this is one of the hotter maps, but it does overheat on, you know, pretty much any map, regardless of your modifications. And it also isn't the most maneuverable fighter in the world. It's not bad. You know, in fact, actually, I would say it's really good. But when it comes to, like, low speed maneuverability, and when it comes to just, like, fighting, for example, a Spitfire or a Japanese aircraft, this is not going to do it for the most part. Like, you're going to need the help of allies to distract your enemies. Otherwise, it will become a really difficult task to do. You know, you pretty much either have to pick off distracted enemies or just kind of boom and zoom, whatever. You know, that's just kind of how this plane is. But thankfully, again, once you get all that extra mobility, the performance, this thing is amazing as a boom and zoomer. Like I said, I cannot say enough good things about it in that regard. It just really has pretty much everything that you could want, and it's also got a very favorable BR where it sees down tiers for the most part. Like, it's quite a down tier magnet in my opinion. So, again, I fully recommend this thing. We have an enemy somewhere around here. Not sure exactly where. Woof! A little ugly on my part, but it is what it is. So that said, I think this match is pretty much over. We have a few stragglers kind of hanging around in the sky. Not sure if they're going to come down or what. If they do, I will definitely, record it. But like I said, I mean, like, when it comes to low altitude, this thing is pretty good. When it comes to, like, medium altitudes, I'm talking, like, 2,500 to 4,000 meters. The performance on this thing really starts, like, feeling like it's kicking on. And then, of course, you also have the dive rate on this thing, which is phenomenal. There's really not anything too bad I can say about this thing. It's just kind of pretty much, I think it's the ultimate Corsair that you can get in the regular air tech tree. And like I said, if you're a fan of the Corsair, you are going to be a huge fan of this aircraft. Like, it just takes it up to 11. You know, there's nothing really bad that I can say about it. Just going to go for this Hornet, I guess. Hopefully I can trick him into a head-on. Doesn't really matter at this point. We have 3 kills to 2 NPC kills, I guess, which is okay in my opinion. And also, that's another thing, actually. We have tons of ammunition, and we have ourselves that kill. Look at that, boys. It is a beautiful thing. Like, it just rips them apart. And bear in mind, I am using air belts, which are loaded with high explosive. It's like 3/4 high explosive ammunition. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can take out this BF-109. I mean, this thing has surprised me, genuinely. Just some final thoughts here. The 4B has surprised me in a way that I didn't really think it would, because a lot of the time, like, you can kind of more or less guess how good a plane is going to be when it's fully stock and then going to fully spaded, right? Like, it's not too much of a difference. It's not to the point where it's like, oh, wow, this genuinely surprised me. This did. This vehicle genuinely has surprised me. It's got tons of ammunition. Its stock performance is mediocre and doesn't really show off what this thing can do fully spaded. Its overall maneuverability is always great, but again, it's like, you know, you're talking about the difference of like probably 50 kilometers per hour and like 1,000 to 1,500 meters going from stock to spaded in terms of climbing performance by the time you first get into contact with your first enemy. So it's a big deal. You know, genuinely, it is a big deal. So we have 5 kills here. I'm just going to go for this Tupolev 2, see if we can get it. I still have 102 rounds left, which is huge, especially for 20 millimeter rounds, or 204 rounds left, rather. It's just, like I said, this thing, I can't say enough good things about it. And it's genuinely a 100% go for me. So I'm doing something a little stupid here, mainly because I actually have to go. So if I can get myself a kill, I can get myself a kill. If I can't, then I can't. But you guys already know how this... Okay, we got the kill. It's just absurd. Can I turn around in time? I might. I can. Oh, baby! Would you look at that? And I still have 24 rounds left. Holy guacamole. I'm just going to keep on. I think he's crashing. So, with that said, do I recommend this plane? 7 kills and a few AI kills without having to go back to base for more ammo? Yeah, I recommend the F4U-4B. This thing rules. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. See you all on the other side. Take care. Take care, everyone, I guess. I know, I always say take care, everyone.